I want you to finish the sentence. What does wealth mean to you? So start with wealth means X. Waithaka.
So many things, but we define it at Centonomy as the ability to live the lifestyle that you want without having to work. So there's an element of having assets, and that's where real wealth is when you have an asset that generates. That's what you're looking for. Many of us, we are the asset in our lives. So it's our work that produces. And that's where we all start. And everyone should. But I think over a lifetime, it is about building other assets that generate money for you. They put money in your pocket. That's wealth.
I'm sorry. I
I'd hate to come after that.
I'm seriously, honestly.
He sat back.
Can we just say that that's all of us?
Represented us.
No,
man.
listen, Oscar said the level of this panel is, we have to keep it at that level, please. Thank you.
We're cruising nicely.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, to be honest, I think he just put it in many words, but for me, wealth is freedom. That's it.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. For me, wealth is unbridled time, which is the same thing as what the both of you said. I think there's a lot of us who have a lot of time, but that time is filled with worry and concern because you don't have, because there's lack. That's not time. I think for me, that's just stress. But for me, time is freedom, as she said, and asset, as you said, but it's peace. Having time with peace, that's for me the win. That's wealth.
Take it a little bit further. Join it to purpose. Because it's not just about owning stuff, but it's about when you say freedom and you say all those and time, it's about what matters to you. Because there are some people like in this world, they're teachers. I remember that the Kenyan teacher, I think he was called Tabichi, I think, who won $1 million and gave it all away. Why? Because his purpose is serving. So he said that money should go and serve someone else. So that's true wealth, because he has the freedom to turn, to give away $1 million, even if it's not. So you define for yourself what you want. And if you're finding yourself in that same space, now we are together on purpose.
Yeah. Money myths. Like, what do you think are the biggest money myths that you've experienced as entrepreneurs and panelists here today?
High income is wealth. There's a difference between earning a lot of money and being wealthy. There's a difference. So you find a lot of people, especially in employment, you have a high income, which means like if you're working for the blue chip companies this side of the world, you can be earning $1 million, $2 million a month if you look at it, but you're actually poor. Because you're using the entire 1 million or the entire 2 million that you're earning a month and you're not building anything. And so once you lose your job, you're out of it completely. So having a high income is not the same thing as being wealthy.
It's really powerful.
Gosh. I'm still thinking.
Can I add one more as she's thinking? Influencers like yourselves.
Fall an influencer.
No, the guys on this side of the table.
Running away.
Don't lie.
You're influential. No, keep going.
I'm going on it. Let me go on it. This is an amazing new industry which I highly respect and I'm so grateful for, but it's falling into the same trap where you have a lot of people who are now making a high income, but they're not building wealth. So they're making all the deals, but that money comes in and goes out.
Can I just talk to that, bro?
Please.
Let me tell you why I say I'm an influencer. Last video I've done actually on socials is the difference between an influencer and being an influential person. And like now, let me explain. You are now an influential person.
Yes.
Because you've actually done the work.
Yeah.
You're building out a business. You know what it's like to not have payroll or to stall on products, to deal with the Kenya Revenue Authority, to put together a brand, to hire people. You know what it's like. So what you've done is you've taken a bunch of people who have not gone through the experience you've gone through and you've roped them into your life. So now you're a key opinion former.
Right.
Before you were an influencer and you talk about everything from this product that I can put on my face to this thing I can drink to this outfit I can buy. But now I'm in a sector called entrepreneurship and I can speak to it. I've done the same thing with artificial intelligence. You've done the same thing with finance. And the thing that people are missing is fluff is so easy to depose. There's always going to be a more beautiful person than you. There's always going to be a smarter person than you. There's always going to be a more attractive, taller, smaller, whatever. But it's very difficult to replace an expert. Why are you spending so much time talking up products and not talking up yourself? And I think that's where I differentiate myself from an influencer. I am a key opinion former because I spend my time participating in activities that are building out a very specific sector with an intention of being an oligarch of that sector. Like, it's not even a lie. Like, I want to be the person that you call on when you want to talk about AI in Africa.
A lot of people that watch this are young and they're getting their first checks, but it's arrived now. What do we do? What are the general principles you can advise?
So what we try and talk about is to live your life on purpose. So there are many rules, the 50-20, whatever rules. We at Centonomy, we never talk about that. It's about you taking control. Why? Because when we started this discussion, so let's be very clear. Everyone has a plan for your money, including me. We have a plan for your money. If you don't have one, I will create one for you, and I'll, so that we get it.
Right.
So what we're trying to get people to be aware and to make a plan. Why we don't talk about percentages at Centonomy is because percentages don't speak towards a goal. They don't speak towards ambition. So when I tell somebody who's earning 15K a month, you should save 10%, you should do this. 15K a month, simply saving and investing will never get you to the lifestyle that you're dreaming about.
That's right.
So part of your agenda is not just to save and invest from the 15K, but to actually have a plan on how you're going to increase the 15K. So it's that general awareness. But in terms of, if you want just simple rules of thumb, number one, pay yourself first, which means any money that comes in, you save and invest before you pay your landlord, your relatives, if you're a person of faith like me, you pay your taxes, you pay your tithe, then you pay yourself. As in, so that you prioritize yourself. Second is awareness. So you have to know where your money is going. Most of us have no clue, including me. When I started, I had no idea. I always tell the story of how I was spending more on takeout food than my rent. And that we discovered with my wife.
Crazy, bro.
And it's because we just didn't add it up, you know? And when we did, we were like, crazy. Anyway, and now we found a different way of doing it, right? And third is to really, and this is, if you don't get anything else, get this, focus on assets. Any money that you're putting aside and saving and investing should buy you something, an asset that begins to put money in your pocket.
You have to say, okay, fine, that's my goal. What am I going to do? And that's what I did 10 years ago. We're literally turning 10 this year.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
That's it.
So let's add to that, because I think we are also a little bit privileged on this table that you went to school. You probably had family who were supporting you. So when you hear the story of, I don't know the full story, but when you say I started with 200 bob, that 200 bob was not what you were eating that day. So there's a slight difference, but it is valid.
Yeah.
So let me show you what I mean by taking care of opportunities, because that's what Eli was asking about. So today we are talking about security guards. I don't know why. But it's a story I told. In the apartment that we had a guard. And the guard used to come, essentially he sits there, opens the gate. By 11, most of the people are home, and then he sleeps essentially until morning and goes.
You're all sleeping.
So, and you can imagine he was probably earning around 13,000 a month. Okay. Then some of us asked in the evening, please wash my car. Before you knew it, now he was earning more from washing the cars than from his actual job in the evening.
Nice.
Now, what that does is that it now begins to generate capital for what he'd like to do. So let's not give ourselves excuses. To generate capital is not an easy thing, but it's possible. It's for, and many times the issue is that we've never sat down and challenged ourselves to say, what could I do? Even as an employee. So let's talk to the young guys who are employed as well. So you're sitting and waiting, boss, please give me a promotion or increase my pay. Why? Start off with the issue of value. Have you offered value to your employer? Because if you become valuable, I'm stealing that from Dr. Miles Monroe, money will chase you. And you can see those guys in employment. You see guys who enter an organization, they are promoted in a few, before you know it, they're poached by another organization, they keep moving. Why? Because they're building value. Those who make it believe they will make it.
Belief.
And it's not always belief because of what they can see. Like there's an element that you can be able to see, I've raised my 1.5 million, so I should start. But there was still fear.
Yeah.
And you had to push through that because you said, there's something. I don't know yet, but there's something. And so I would encourage people, I think anyone who's an entrepreneur, anyone who's found success, it's faith. If you go for that job interview, you have to be pushed. You have to push through the fear because you believe you can get the job.
That's right.
And there's power in faith that will take you to places you can't believe. Yes, we shouldn't be preaching, but I will preach anyway. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen.
Yeah.
So it means it's not in front of you, but you believe it'll come out.
That's it.
And those people who believe are the ones who actually achieve those goals. In my humble opinion, I don't believe you can tax growth. I mean, you can tax into growth.
No, you can't.
So tax it has to be there. There has to be a way for the government to be able to collect resources to run the country. But where growth happens is when you enable entrepreneurs like the wonderful folks who are seated on this table to grow as fast as possible, to access credit, to access capital, to move freely. So let me say this. Kenya is, and the problem on Africa is that we are very small markets. And so the potential for a business to grow is difficult because the business it's difficult to go across. I'm sure Tonee will talk about this, and I'm sure even Njoki, if you've tried to sell across borders, you know what it's like. We are now, this is 16 years of Centonomy, now is when we have a class in Uganda, for example. It's just that hard to move across borders, okay? So if we can do a lot more work about opening borders so that markets can open for business, I think that's where we'll see huge growth. If you look at the economies that are biggest in the world, it's because they have big populations. And so they have enough to sell even within themselves. If you're in the States, if you open in the West Coast, you can sell across to 350 million people. You know what I'm saying? In China, the same. In India, the same. But here in Africa, if you're in Kenya, we only have 50 million people you're going to sell to. And even those 50 million people, you don't have the infrastructure to get to them.
And half of them are children.
Yeah. So if we can work on opening markets, that would be a huge deal, and making it as easy as possible for business owners. And there's been, let me tell you, there's been traction in that direction. I think we just need to do more. That's it.